Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to our Irby Derby campaign in Battletech Advanced 3062, and there are some things that you can do in a game where you feel like you've hit a milestone, and this is what we've done today because we have not 4, not 6, but 8 different mechs on the field. We are dropping, that's right, 2 full lances of battle mechs. And this includes our 2 most recent additions, the Only One MA, and what was worked on last Friday, I believe, where is he? The Thunderbolt TDR-5 SE. Of course, both of these have undergone some minor changes, which I will show off real soon. So, the Orion, I did replace the LBX IC-10, so long bore extended, so large bore extended autocannon 10 with a rotary AC-5. And the Thunderbolt, I included an improved binary laser. I've been looking for a pair for it for a while, but I've wanted to try this thing out. We do, of course, have multiple fire modes that will be quite a joy to discover. So the reason that I have waited so long to do a convoy mission like this one is because I knew one day we'd be able to field 8 mechs, and well, convoy missions are frankly so dangerous with their sheer possible number of enemy reinforcements that I didn't feel comfortable doing it until we'd gotten a bit more firepower on our side. It's hard to get more firepower than the 8 mechs that we have with us today, and wow, okay, we're being ambushed. So this is one of the features, I guess, of of fighting in a city. There are ambushes that can occur. Sometimes it's battle armor, sometimes it's turrets, and we've walked right into one before the rally point even took, well, before we even got to the rally point. Now, my question is, I'm supposed to avoid killing buildings, right? How do I do that when the turrets are inside the buildings? This seems like a bit of a design flaw, so I wonder, any miss? Okay, infantry, SRM. Okay, so they've replaced the buildings, it looks like, with the... I see. So I just destroy the building. Cool. Goodbye. And it does not count as... Okay, this is good. This is actually well thought out. Very nice. I like it. We're going to reserve down to 5, and we're going to try out that different core for the improved binary laser. Now we do lose a little bit, actually we gain a little bit of damage on the improved binary laser over the standard, which shoots for 70 instead of the 80 we have here. We have linked mode, split mode, so 2 shots, 55 each. I like that. Ooh, I like that a lot. And there's no harm in not doing this. Actually, yeah, we're not building any heat either way, really. It looks like it's about the same. Split mode gives us 2 chances and a larger overall amount of damage. At the penalty, of course, of going into two different hit locations, which is not relevant at the moment. So we're going to turn off the LRM-20, reserve some of our ammunition for later on in the fight, and take out this ambusher. Of course, we missed so much of that, but still enough to take down that SRM platoon. Oh, that's kind of thematic. Urban warfare and all that. Irby warfare and all that. Had to. Couldn't help it. Okay. Centurion, I'm using this guy because he's so incredibly mobile that if he's a little bit behind, it shouldn't be the end of the world. Let's fire slug instead of cluster and take this guy out, please. There we go. Alright, so we've dealt with the first ambush. We need to get somebody to the rally point, although I don't think I want to do that this turn. I think I want to do that next turn. Hard to say. Chancellor, of course, has been promoted, as has Bobsled, from our battle armor pilots to full-on mech pilots, so it's a happy day for them. Battle armor, of course, is way more fragile and way more likely to lead to time in the sickbay than something like an Orion, of all things. I mean, that is quite an upgrade they have going on there. So, with the Dervish up as well, one of my concerns is I don't want to spawn in enemies when we don't have very much evasion to deal with them. Plus, as soon as I step on that section, we're going to have vehicles that we need to escort. Well, possibly mechs, but probably vehicles we need to escort. And if I don't have much movement, it's going to be hard to keep up with them. So We of course fall out of combat. I need to sneeze. Oh, my apologies. Okay, so we've got the Orion moving up. It looks like we need the end turn here, so this is, I'm pretty happy with it. We're gonna get, I don't want to block all the spaces here, but I do want some evasion. I do want some evasion on most of my mechs, and let's get the Irby Lamb way up top. Okay. Lots of things loading in at once. Okay, we have our convoy. Okay, so these force is a hybrid carrier, which I'm not happy with because it's very fragile. Vargar APC, very tough, very tough. Yeah, so the 3 Vargars are going to be easy to protect. That hybrid carrier is probably going to die, which means that we're not going to have an easy time getting one of our paydays for keeping them all alive. In terms of enemy out 4, there's an unknown vehicle on the board and nothing else that I see as of yet. Okay, something else. Unknown mech. It's moving pretty quick. It's probably a light or a medium. This is a 4-skull mission drop, so in theory, it should be pretty tough. I don't know why they're reserving. Maybe they want us to lead the way, which, I mean, I would like to do that. So let's get, actually, you know what? Let's get Edmund. I want the Irby Lamb moving up, and it does need some time to do it since I had no way of knowing which direction they'd go out of the convoy point, so we are a little bit out of position with the Irby Lamb, who's just breaking windows, getting up on top of that building, but to each their own. So, okay, let's take a look. 45-tonner, so it's going to be a pilot with good skill. Let's take a peek at that. There are two 80-ton vehicles as well, but don't care about those as much. That Hatchet Man would be a nice prize if we took this for salvage, which of course we did not. Of the various mission types, I think that escorts are pretty good for the money. Reason being, there are so many bonus objectives, and each of those is going to multiply your pay by a little bit if you can achieve them. So what you want to do is you want to keep everyone alive. You want to maximize the profit that way, and take out all the enemy reinforcements if you can without killing the buildings if you're in Somalia City, or even more additional base pay and modifiers. So we're going to pop shielded stance on Chancellor and the Ostrok. Have switched Ostrok pilots because I wanted to give El Duce a little bit of a different ride in the Thunderbolt. I'm not taking the shot. I have said before, every shot not taken is a miss, but when misses impact your payday, that's a very different calculation, and one that I am not prepared right now to say is high enough risk-reward for that 30% shot into a whole bunch of buildings. Now, the LRMs are a different story. So LRM 20 should be okay. Yeah, good contact. No contact with buildings in the way of it, which is pretty nice. If we so much as tap a building here and the AI destroys it, we will still end up having to pay, which is rather annoying to be honest, but that's how it works. So we'll get the Marauder moving up. We do have another sensor lock here, so I wish I could use it on something, but I'm just one tile away from functional range there. Now that we have some escorts out front, our Vargars should take off. Yep, exactly. Enemy turn, Partisan. Looks like AC2s. Lots of incoming fire, but not a lot of deadly incoming fire, so I'm okay with it. That guy would have a problem even getting through our carrier mech, so that's alright with me. These guys are pretty far back. It's going to be a challenge for all of them to keep up with the Centurion, who of course does have absolute wheels. But cluster rounds will not be a good choice here, so we're going to go with Slug, and we'll try to avoid even the SRM-6, I think, for right now. Only take high odds shots. Yeah, okay, so we landed one in, starting to get some work done. The Vargars are moving over to the escort zone. Now, this doesn't look terrible right now, but the last campaign that we did, we had, I think, 36 total mechs in the out 4. It was ridiculous. It was one initial blocking lance, I think, with reinforcements, so 8 mechs there. 1 or 2 when we picked up our contacts here. And then 2 separate lances, I believe, once we got to the evac point. It was ridiculous, the sheer number of mechs that we had to chew through. So things can still turn for us here, and not in a very good way if we aren't lucky or careful. So the Wolverine moving up. This shouldn't be too big of a risk for hitting buildings, so I'm going to go into both of the ER larges and the LRM-20. Try and bully this hatchet man a little bit. We do land both of the lasers, and a fair smattering of the missiles. And that hatchet man is very unhappy. And yeah, so, oh geez, that's the Thunderbolt carrier. There we go. Alright, 2 hits with Thunderbolts, 55 damage apiece, plus a light smattering of LRMs. And here comes the return fire of the MRM carrier. So many missiles. But we weathered the storm. Actually, I think, in terms of vehicle-vehicle fighting, the hybrid carrier with the TBMs might be a little bit more deadly, because these are just going to scatter so much, and you can see that in the armor values on the hybrid carrier. So I think we've got the good end of the stick on that one, as much as that matters. Which is, I don't know, it matters some. It's not amazing, it's not horrible. I didn't bring battle armor just because on an escort mission like this, it's going to be hard to have them keep up unless they're constantly hitching a ride on our mechs, and if that's the case, well, then they're never going to be able to fire their guns, so what's really the point? It does, of course, make our turns, well, the more mechs we field, the longer our turns are going to be, the more mechs in the Out 4, the longer the turns are going to be, so adding on a useless duo of battle armor for a mission they're not well suited for is, it didn't seem like a great idea. So the Thunderbolt does not, unfortunately, have Artemis 4 ammunition, and so we are going to be a bit more challenged for shots there than we otherwise would be, and that's going to lead me just to avoid firing so that we don't hit any vehicles or friendly fire or anything of that nature. Edmund here finally getting a little closer, but still not really in engagement range for all of that short range armament, is going to be moving up. And we might be able to get a shot on here with the precision strike. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so we have precision strike, well, called shot mastery, I suppose. And that heavy MRM carrier doesn't have much armor, so I'm going to see if we can break through it. I mean, good damage. Not enough to break through the armor, unfortunately. If we take a look at how that was, yeah, it was a fair amount of scattering. I think the 2 streaks even went to different locations, which is not ideal. We'll come up here, and hopefully make good use of our coil, which will turn on. 117 damage. Of course, we're going way too toasty, but that's alright. That's what we are made for with this mech. We're going to go with the high odds ER medium. And actually, you know what? No, we're not, because the coil on its own will be able to get the kill on the front or either side, and the ER medium wouldn't make the difference shooting through the rear armor. So let's go. There's the kill. See? We didn't need it. Very nice. Very, very nice. That Ostrak proving his worth once again. There are some pilot abilities I want to try out with this thing, notably one that drops your initiative that gives you 60 additional cooling, but let us fire in overcharge mode a little bit more freely. And the cost of 2 initiative is not great, but it's not the end of the world either, so we could get away with it, I think, if we were careful. It would be situational, but then most of the specialized pilot abilities are, so nothing really lost there. And Hatchet Man moving up, not too much damage coming in from him. Let's get Trash Can going in his Marauder. I'm looking forward to using these binary lasers again. They always just kind of make me happy. Some things, right? Okay, we're going to shoot in at the Partisan. Higher odds of killing it, I think. And I unfortunately did not pick up slug ammunition for the LBX AC-10, so no firing there. Not necessary anyway. We just would have hit the building at least a little bit, and I am trying again to preserve as much of a payday as I can. So, I mean, something, I think I was talking about this on the Battletech game Reddit last week, but there's this little optimization problem that you have to go through whenever you're picking salvage or money, and salvage is often the better choice because the sheer value of selling a mech that you can rebuild is very nice, and you might not pick it up all at once, but you do a couple missions for 4 of your own choice and 19 random, and you'll get 3 or 4 mechs out of it, depending on your salvage luck, I suppose. But we've taken this one for the money, and the reason that math makes sense is, well, it only does if we manage to get the additional bonus pay. I mean, a 4 million C-build check, for example, would be a very nice thing for us to cash, and there are some things where the immediate money has its own value as well, like upgrading the Argo, which we are still making our way through. We've not managed to get all of our upgrades out of the way. A little bit of a difficult positioning with Viper and the Wolverine, kind of blocking my own shot a little bit with anything else farther back in the Lance. But I wanted to move up, I wanted to pressure that Orion. I wanted to get him to shoot at me instead of our convoy, because if they pile into that, well, sensitive, shall we say, hybrid carrier, we'll be in a spot of trouble, and that's not something I want. Since Centurion can go pretty far up, I'm waiting on him because I might want fire on the enemy Orion for something with a little bit less mobility. Let's reserve down to 4, okay. And our own Orion, yes, we can get that shot. Not sure that we should get that shot. Bobsled doesn't have best gunnery skill, which will hurt us a little bit. Go up to 6, try out the rotary AC-5. We do risk killing a building here, but let's go for it. Hey, very nice. I think those all landed, which is pretty cool. We're not even jammed. We will have a bit of recoil to deal with just from a low gunnery skill, but that was an impressive amount of damage. So I'm very happy, and we're going to reserve. Again, I want our escorts to move. If they don't, then, yeah, okay, we'll get too far ahead of them and they'll refuse to move, and I'll have to come back and babysit them, and it'll be a whole big thing. Nobody will be happy. So yeah, shoot at the Vargar all you want for right now. They have lots of armor. More than enough to weather several direct volleys from that Oni 1K. So no harm done there. The other Vargar moving up. Come on. Come on, hybrid carrier. Come on. We're waiting for you. You can do it. I believe in you. And he is shooting. Miss. One hit. One hit from the heavy missiles. Fair scattering from the LRMs is pretty nice, and now we don't have anything back here to babysit, so we can move up with confidence that we're not leaving anyone behind. So let's go up here. We do have another precision strike with the Thunderbolt. I think we will go ahead and use that. Let's see, do I want split firing mode, or do I want linked? I think split is usually going to be better. I might have to look at the description on that to see. They're going to turn off the LRM-20 just because I don't want to shoot into the building behind them. This is already not our safest shot, and yeah, we do land one shot on a building, it looks like. It's not the end of the world, it just opens us up to risk, which I don't like risk. Risk is bad. Risk is what loses you paychecks. Okay, so the Orion 1K is definitely taking a beating, and we might be able to exploit that with Ridgehound. Let's see what we can do. We hit the building quite far behind him, so a close-up shot like this shouldn't be the end of the world. Mediums, turn on the SRM-6s. Can you take this guy out? Yeah, okay, I mean, that was a big ask. He's damaged, but he's not, not that close to dead, anyway. Edmund might be able to do it. We're just, at this point, we're not going to go through his rear armor with the Lam. We're just going to try and take out that damaged side torso. Oh, no joy. Standard engine crit, so he's not carrying an XL engine. It's unfortunate, it means the side torso won't be a kill, but I mean, it doesn't need to be, that's okay. Let's reserve down to 5, they're letting us move, which is okay with me. Let's get the Marauder up. That could be a good shot. Yeah, let's try it. Oh, binary lasers. 1, 2. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Very nice. Don't care that we cord mount right through the center because we're not looking for salvage on this anyway, and now we're just going to wait and let our escort vehicles move. A little bit of babysitting. I mean, they're not going to move the quickest. It's going to take us a couple turns to get to that escort zone. But we might have even more opposition to face once they get there, particularly on this sort of skull raiding mission, which of course we've been hanging out 3.5, 4 skull planets since we stepped up the difficulty a little while ago, and I think that was overdue. I think we're pretty confident now. The first couple missions were a little bit touch and go. Took an absolute beating about 2 weeks ago, just because I was being a little not careful, but it was also just where we dropped in. It was a very difficult terrain that I wasn't well suited for, by virtue of not having adequate jump jets to really solve the problem. My own fault, of course, and that is something that you have to take into consideration, is that you might not drop in some ideal firing line sort of configuration all the time, and we will have to deal with that every once in a while. So we're just moving up a little bit. I don't want to get too far away from these guys. I also just kind of want to shepherd them into where they are supposed to go. We will also do a little bit of screening. It's not uncommon when you get to the escort zone for the enemy drop to be on the other side of it, so if they get out too far ahead of you, then you'll end up going, oh, okay, well, these vehicles are going to take the brunt of the first volley, and there's nothing I can do about that. So you can make it almost all the way, and still lose your extra payday. So enemy reinforcements dropping in.
The package will be on its way soon.
Doesn't look like there's bonus pay for killing them. Interesting. There's no bonus pay for killing them. There's no reason to kill them. It's not like you're getting salvage money from them anyway. So really nothing gained there. Orion, Shadowhawk, 50-tonner, 40-tonner. Has he already been tagged or narked? That's weird. Looks like only 4? A little hard to tell. We're just going to let them come to us for right now. I think we should be able to intercept decently easily. The most difficult thing will be making sure that all of our vehicles get there in time. Of course, since that lead one got there first, and it entered combat again, well, I don't know, it does look like, yeah, so he skipped everyone else's turn. So he's now there, he didn't have to move, so he just braced, now he's lost his evasion, makes him a sitting duck, for lack of a better description. And he's going to be that sitting duck. Everyone that gets here early is going to be sitting there with 0 evasion until that hybrid carrier makes his way all the way downtown, which could take quite a while if he's feeling pokey. Enemy turn. Alright. It's a crab. Hard shell or no? Nope, that looked like a large laser, so it's not the hard shell. Those tend to only carry 4 medium lasers. Yeah, crab 2-0. I think it's downgraded tech. But as the description itself will tell you, they, quote, weathered that downgrade decently alright. Not much fancy tech in there to begin with, and crabs, and they're pretty armor heavy. Dude, can you please take a better route than this? If you're going all the way up and around, it's going to take you like 4 turns to get there. That's obnoxious. Nothing we can do about it, so we'll just have to make do. We will try to avoid giving the enemy good sight lines. Getting in there, stalling. Still can't afford taking down any buildings. And this is what I meant before, so we've damaged this guy highlighted in blue right now, and their firing angles, if they miss, the enemy could very well topple that building. But it'll count as us killing it. If you can't tell that I find this somewhat annoying, then, well, I find it somewhat annoying. This guy back here, this 40-tonner, is sitting there just thinking and thinking and thinking, isn't he? Come on. It's not that important. Oh, it's an assassin. All those jump jets were doing their optimization problems. And while he's up there, he's pretty safe. Although the Erbiland, you know what? I have a mech. I have a mech that can make you sad. Oh, I love it. Next turn, if he's still up there, we're gonna pop up there and shoot him in the back. Should be a fun time. In the meantime, though, let's get the trash can moving up in the Marauder. Now, all that's left is our own, I guess, double lance of mechs. So, time to bring the pain. Shooting at the Orion, we will finally turn on those cluster munitions. 1, 2, and a little bit extra on top. Gotta love it. Alright. The Orion 1MA. With the rotary autocannon. A little bit difficult positioning-wise. Let's just run up the middle here. Nice buddy for our Marauder. Of course, if this was ambush, we'd be in a horrible, horrible situation, but I don't think we are. Precision strike. Are we suffering from recoil here? No. It's just move, sprinted. Big differences from it, not in the 90s. Give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We did miss 2 of them, and we hit buildings behind. So if you take a look, well, it's not letting me see the health on that building, but that is the one that we damaged. So we just need to be aware of it. Not the end of the world. Let's get the Ostrak moving up. That's going to be too long range. You know what? The Ostrak might stay here as the sort of escort mech to bring them along still. We'll pop Vigilance to give everyone else a little bit of inspiration. And bring the Centurion over. Can I get a good shot? Not really. That's obstructed by the building, so everything that we miss will be going into a really not great place. So we're going to do a bit of a flanking maneuver with the Ridgehound and the Centurion right now, and I think we'll also pop defensive formation. Give everyone 20% damage resistance. Not that it'll really be make or break at this point, but hey, it's better than nothing. And better than nothing is often well worthwhile. So, up here with the Thunderbolt. A little bit of an awkward position here as well for him. Not a lot of direct fire choices, not a lot of good accuracy choices in general. But we can at least fire the LRM 20, I think, shouldn't be too much of a risk there. Yeah, and actually, we even hit the Shadowhawk once or twice with a stray missile, so that's fine. The Wolverine needs to stay here. Actually, we'll move him over here. That should be a good spot to guide people. Because we can't move too far away is the issue, right? They'll stop. Our guys will stop moving at all. Which is not what we want. Dervish up, close range. SRM armaments is really just not exceptional in city fighting. But we make do. And let's go up here. Continue pounding on that enemy Ryan. So, no, we're going to save the precision strike for next turn. On the assassin, we might need it. From size delta. It looks like that guy was packing an extra large engine, and we've been able to exploit that. Pretty well. So now let's get the Irby Lamb moving, of course, at 10. For purpose of evasion for this only. Are you kidding me? Yeah, okay, this is what I was worried about. We have relatively poor accuracy here, and we could well kill the building we're standing on if we're not careful. Of course, the street SRMs can't miss like that, but the ER small lasers definitely can. Not a lot of rear armor here. Let's fire in. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, granted, the assassin's still alive, which is not my intention, but he's very much having a bad day. Taking one down. It's almost like he's up there singing a sad song just to turn it around. Okay, much more of that and I'll get copyrighted. Well, no, I won't. Somebody would have to watch it. See, this is the interesting thing about copyright. If you quote somebody's song or somebody's movie or all this sort of stuff, and nobody watches your shit, so nobody knows, then it really doesn't matter too much, does it? I find that kind of amusing. It's not to say that nobody would ever see this, more of like virtually certain nobody will ever see this. I do think about that from time to time, because I do my best to keep a relatively smooth commentary going, and I enjoy it. I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy thinking about it out loud. And actually, I think it helps me play a little bit better. Not all the time. Sometimes I overlook things, and I want to tell you about this other sort of cool thing here on this other mech. But, I don't know, I mean, it's kind of nice, right? You're thinking about it a little bit more than you otherwise would. We do have a problem, which is structure exposed in the hybrid carrier. This is what I was worrying about with such a fragile mech, and he's not in a good position to stay away from danger either. So we really need to get a move on with killing the enemies that remain. We're going to start with this crab, double binary laser cluster rounds on. 1, 2, and scatter shot. Structure exposed already, that is what we were hoping for with this, and he's so slow. Everyone else is there almost. You're so slow, man. Why? Or just why? I wish they gave me all Vargers, even if they don't have as much of a weapons complement. Okay, so the rotary AC-5 is finally jammed. It's going to happen pretty often. Something you have to be aware of. Firing in. Still a pretty nice alpha strike on that mech, even without the Rack 5. And granted, we're shooting at a medium mech, so we're punching down a little bit in terms of tonnage and capability, but not that tremendously. Thunderbolt is going to move up here, so sort of try to block that direct line of sight, and shoot in. Give me the link port. Very nice, beautiful, beautiful. Just chunking away pieces of that crab 20. Knocked down, might even be a pilot punch out. We doubt. We're not gonna give him time for that, of course. It'll take way too long. So that's shooting through, that's obstructed. Not a lot of good options here, not a lot at all. Let's see if we can get around with Ridgehound. We can. Very nice. Hey, Shadowhawk. How would you like to get completely outmaneuvered? Because I think I'd enjoy that if you were completely outmaneuvered. And, well, I might have just made it happen, so enjoy this. Not a kill. Not far off of one. It does make me miss my Timberwolf from the previous campaign, because that guy, that Timberwolf, I loaded him up on ATMs, Advanced Tactical Missiles, and also on whatever sort of clan SRMs I could find, especially later on. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch. So we are shooting through our own mech here, a little bit of risk of friendly fire, but I think at this point I just want to stop there. And I'm going to risk it, and of course we do get it. That looked like a building kill in the background. It wasn't. It was actually just a little bit of other terrain kind of going kaboom. So one of these pieces of not actual building. And we will just brace Wolverine and brace the Ostrock to make sure that these mechs, no, not mechs, make sure our escort vehicles keep moving in the right direction. Ruby Lamb is going to come over here and say, oh hey, no, really, I meant it. Please stop existing, assassin. Of course, we don't have great accuracy on this guy this time around, and part of that is due to his evasion. 8 pips is just tremendous. I should have sensor locked this guy first, but we still somehow managed to fire the streaks, and I will admit, that was mostly luck. So the better play would have been to use the Marauder to sensor lock, and then once we have the sensor lock and he has 6 evasion pips, we'd be shooting with much higher accuracy. The fact that it didn't matter doesn't mean that it shouldn't have been done. So, I think we're going to switch to cluster. I want almost guaranteed shots on that damage right torso and CT. There it is, there's the kill. And we've taken out our third enemy sort of, well, not lance, because the first one was more of an ambush. But there it is, and we don't actually need to get to escort now, because we take them all out, so that's the mission. Thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.